And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the American Patriots Pad Fireside Chats. Woohoo! Hope everybody's had a good week, despite the bad stuff that's been going on. Oh boy, was yesterday a hard day. But hey, we're here now. Shrubby is not here right now. He's studying for his exams. But we have Wavero, we've got Zachary, we've got Crazy Horse, and we've got Alice with us today for a
He's
fireside chat.
I thought he was like 30.
Well, he's ex-Navy and he's studying cybersecurity to get
I
to.
thought you meant actual like school.
Nah, it's
Confused.
career expanding, I think.
Uh,
So yeah, education happens all the way down the line. It's learning something new is always fun. Um, in fact, I recommend it. It's one of the reasons why I love reading. Is you learn something new every day, and when you're learning something new every day, your life gets better.
I actually swore to myself years ago I would never go back to school. I had too many bad memories.
College, but well, in the UK, what I refer to as college is referred to as university.
No, we have a college here too. It goes primary school, secondary school, college, and then university.
Well, here in the States, it's our version of college is more like y'all's university.
Ours is complicated. Our college here is just extended education. You can join it at 16 years old, and it's free up until you're 18, and then anyone can go to it. You'll just have to pay for it. And then
Yeah.
university is just for the like official shit and like for like the really smart people.
Yeah. Well, we call what y'all call college is finishing school or preparatory school, where you're getting yourself ready to go to a college or a university. Because up until when I was your age, there were still high schools that did not provide enough education stuff to where you could go straight from graduating with your high school diploma and walk into a college or a university. You actually had to go to a finishing school or a preparatory school that would go for a year to 2 years, because there were places that they didn't even teach art in school, and it was wild. But yeah, but that's why he's not here for today. But we do have Zachary with us. We've got Crazy Horse with us, and we got Alice with us, all the way from the mountains. And before we started, I asked the question of when we should put my health update because of yesterday. The reason why we postponed from Wednesday to today was the fact that I was in the process of getting ready to finally do the colonoscopy, and that happened yesterday. And yeah, it wasn't fun. It never is.
Is that when they put their fingers in your butt?
No, they put a camera up there.
Oh.
Proctology exams where it's just the finger. This is where they stuck a whole film studio up my butt.
Hey, now
Stop
it's not
complaining.
that
We all know
big.
you enjoyed it.
I still have nightmares.
He's not denying.
It's horrible.
It was only double the width of about a pencil.
Hey, that's still too big, man. It hurts. It hurts to
Those
poop
are words
for
you
me.
have never heard before.
It hurts to poop, man. And they had to stick a camera up in there. Dang it. Couldn't stand it. But they didn't find anything major. They had no polyps, none of that. Only thing that they found was the hemorrhoids, of course, and a thinning of the intestinal lining. And I can't say the word which I'm hoping Alice or Crazy can pronounce the word for me.
Diverticulitis.
Yes. And
weird.
yeah, with pustules or something like that can form inside me. and they told me to be on the lookout for blood in my poo. And I just looked at him and said, "Yeah, that's the reason why you had to stick the camera up in there, because I'd been pooping massive amounts of blood." And they looked at me funny, and I said, "Yeah, I was doing the whole fish and chicken diet that they keep telling me I needed to do to stop stuff like that from happening." And it got to a point where there was more blood in the bowl than there was water. And so I started eating red meat again, and all the bleeding and blood in my poop disappeared. And they just looked at me funny and said, "I guess you're one of those people that the red meat is what you need to heal your body." And I'm like, "You don't think?"
Well,
You don't think.
sometimes protein deficiency can cause thinning. So there's several things that can cause the thinning of intestinal lining. One is just age.
Mhm.
One is also there are lots of blood vessels that go to your intestines, and they can become blocked, whether from trauma or a blood clot. And so there's lots of things, some natural, some less natural, that can cause thinning of the lining.
Mhm.
So once you have a thinning of the lining, you then become more susceptible to the diverticulitis, where you have these little pouches form in your intestines, and fecal matter, food kind of can get caught in there, and that's what can create an infection.
Yeah.
So, but also protein deficiency is something else that can cause um, the lining of your intestines to thin. So sometimes, if your body absorbs, let's say, the iron and the protein better from red meat, that's the way to go. Sometimes people absorb it better from chicken, but a lot of times with the chicken and fish diet, they're trying to keep anything super spicy
Mhm.
from kind of irritating that. So, but it also depends on what color blood you were pooping to,
It was a
because
dark red.
dark red is from more upper in the GI tract, from something like your large intestines, small intestines, where something bright red would be from the hemorrhoids.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's also
And
really good for people to know your body
mhm.
and
The
know
poop
what you're
makes the
looking
red
at.
dark.
Yeah, they said if the blood was really, really dark and almost black, that's like, "Oh shit, you were in deep,
Yeah.
deep, deep."
Yeah.
And fortunately, that it wasn't that color. And but yeah, that was the whole reason why they said we need to do one, and I was like, "Okay, we'll do it." And there it went. And I'm just like I said, the fact that when I started doing the red meat diet, and the fact that it pretty much put a stop to every time I went to poop a massive amount of blood, made me feel a heck of a lot better. And I still not too happy with the whole process, but knowing now what to be on the lookout for. I'm still waiting for the turnaround for them to send me the report that is supposed to be sent to me, and to let me know what to do to try to stop the say the word again.
Diverticulitis, or the
Yeah,
thinning of.
yeah, to make the pustules go bye bye. Um, because the my friends that I have on one of the BattleTech servers I'm on was like, there's a whole lot of wrestlers who've had the same issue, and they ended up losing sections of their intestines because of it, and that I needed to be more careful. And so yeah, I'm doing everything I can. I'm anything that they recommend within reason. I'm gonna follow it, because I I don't like going to the bathroom anyway, and I don't want it to hurt any more than it already hurts. And
Yes. Sometimes I
that's
think that there's a lot of stuff that they put in our food now that also causes a lot of irritant to your intestinal lining, a lot of artificial flavorings, colorings,
mhm.
stuff that your body doesn't know how to process, that
Yeah,
really
the The
get
preservatives,
onto it.
especially in the prepared foods, that does
Yes.
it too. So
Yeah, that's why things like processed foods like donuts and stuff like that are so ungodly bad for you.
well, donuts, depending on where you get them from, if they're like fresh donuts, they don't have the preservatives in it. It's whenever you buy those little, the super tasty, awesome chocolate covered or the cinnamon sugar covered, little little nugget ones
You
that come in
you
the
give
little
me
tube.
anything. You give me anything that has some sort of a filling in it, and I will devour it immediately.
Yeah, those
That's
things
why.
are awesome, man.
That's
But they're
why.
filled with
That's why I have
preservatives.
such. That's why I have such an addiction to Hostess stuff.
Mhm.
Like
Because
legit,
Toasties,
I think I've told you. I think I've told you guys this before, but I legitimately have a freaking problem where I can buy 5 boxes of like Little Debbie, like the oatmeal cream pies or Twinkies or something like that, and within a day, all 5 boxes will be gone.
okay, do me a
See,
favor. Stick your fingers in your ear and then count to 10 while I say this, okay? I'm not. We must never let Jeff know that I have a hookup at Hostess where I can get free Hostess stuff. Because if
are
he
you
ever
near?
found
You must
out,
be near an outlet.
yeah, because if he finds out, man, he gotta show up, take my stuff, and go up there and say, "Hey, I'm Richard Spade. Can I have all the freebies?" And
Oh,
that'd
that's
be all she
tempting.
wrote. Hey, I told you to put your fingers in your ears, man.
You
So-
know I can't resist.
I know.
So for
Dang it.
everyone
How
of
did
your
you even
favorite
get
things,
such a privilege? How did
That's a
you?
good
How did you
question.
get this?
Well, I made friends with the guys that worked at Hostess whenever I was doing. I was a manager at a food line and made really good friends with them. In fact,
My only question is, can you set me up with something?
maybe.
Hey, File 13.
Hey, Paul 13, what's up?
He says,
If I can't
he says
grow
he
it or kill it, I don't eat it. I want to be in my 50s, still smashing my wife like I was still in my 30s. Your diet is so important.
amen.
Sup,
File.
homies. Yep. It's great to see you, File 13. If you want to jump in, just let me know.
Hey,
for
Val.
diet. Hang on. I'm going to give you my impression of the word diet. Give me.
Yeah, it's not fun. Whenever there are some foods I can't eat that much anymore because it really upsets my stomach. But when I say upsets my stomach, I mean if I eat too much onions, I get really bad gas, and I don't know why. Because I used to eat onions like they were apples when I was young, and I can't do that no more. But yeah, it's messed up. But hey, I just wanted to get my health update out of the way so that people could know about it. That have been asking how it went. But our first topic, let's do something fun and go with some of the lawsuit updates that we've got going on.
We got plenty of them.
Yep. And
Let's start with a fun one.
You mean the
I want to start with the Disney
Pokemon
one
theme? Oh,
no, I want to do the Disney one. I've been looking forward to this one. So apparently, y'all know how Steamboat Willie went into or entered the public domain last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So apparently, Disney tried to enforce copyright restrictions on Steamboat Willie, and this is long after it entered the public domain, and now they're being sued.
Mm-hmm. Why are they being sued?
Well, it says here, quote, personal injury law firm Morgan and Morgan intended to push a nationwide advertising campaign featuring the character that's Mickey Mouse as his depiction in Steamboat Willie,
Mhm.
but was met with resistance by Disney's legal team. It has filed a lawsuit seeking a court order that the commercial does not violate any of Disney's rights. Says the filing follows Disney in July suing a jewelry company whose product designs incorporate Steamboat Willie's Mickey Mouse, though it appears as if it's trying to pass off the merchandise as coming from the entertainment giant. Says Disney still retains copyrights for later iterations of the characters as well as trademarks, which vastly limit exploitation from competitors.
Yeah. So they're since Steamboat Willie has entered the public domain, that means other people can use it in their advertisements and things of this nature. They can't. It's public domain.
Yes. But that is only specifically Steamboat Willie.
Okay. Okay, Kay. Since you
It says here.
hold on, Kay.
Here.
Just remember, Kay. Anytime you want to come on, you've got an open chair here by the fire. So anytime you want to join, just let me know. But anyway, please continue.
Says here a little later on down in the article, and this is from the Hollywood Reporter. It says, quote again, Morgan and Morgan filed a lawsuit in Florida federal court last week after Disney declined to clarify whether it would initiate legal action over its ad. The 37-second black and white commercial shows Mickey crashing a boat into Mickey Mouse, prompting her to call the law firm. It includes a disclaimer saying that the video isn't endorsed by or associated with Disney.
Yeah. Oh, that's. I mean, dang! Come on, that's funny.
It is funny until you realize this is Disney being stereotypical cliche Disney.
Yeah. Sure. Well, I still can't get over the fact that Disney they've gotten away from doing family friendly stuff, and that's really worrisome, you know.
They got away from that like a decade or so ago.
Yeah. Well, what they've been doing, like Wednesday, because of the prepping for the colonoscopy, we couldn't do the show. So instead, we all got together and we're just shooting the shit in between me taking a shit, hoping somebody would finally give a shit. And and this is one of the things that we were talking about, is all this crazy stuff that Disney's been doing at the parks. And the fact that they've actually closed down Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And I'm still a big believer, if they really wanted to celebrate Princess Tiana, as what they should have done was opened up a Cajun restaurant and had that be Tiana's restaurant. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That would have worked a heck of a lot better and
Well,
would
and I
have
think
honored
that
her
would've-
character.
And it would have really kind of blended well with
Mm-hmm.
the Cajun culture and showing the Cajun culture, which a lot of people didn't know about at the time when the movie came out.
Exactly. And Disney has left so much money on the table with their stupidity. And it's like they love burning money. It's the whole thing of the Dark Knight movie, where the Joker is setting fire to the mountain of cash after he does the big, huge sliding down it, going whee, you know, and it sets it all on fire because he just wants to see it all burn. And in many ways, that's what Disney's been doing to money. And the only reason why they were able to pull that off was the fact that the resorts was making them that much money. And they went in, they fired all the people that knew how to keep the parks up and running, make sure the maintenance was done correctly. They got rid of the people that knew how to build new stuff that made people want to come and do it. They ran them all off. They're all now working for Universal Studios down there in Orlando, building the Universal parks. And they keep shutting down all of their water features there in Orlando, which the entire purpose of all those water features was to be heat sinks to cool it down in the middle of the summer so people could actually come and enjoy a resort that was built in the middle of a swamp. And it's just really frustrating that they're getting rid of all of the stuff that people were coming all over the world to see and enjoy, all because of woke bullshit. They didn't like Splash Mountain because it was based on the Uncle Remus stories and the movie. Dang it, I can't say the name. The Song of the South, that's it. And completely ignoring the fact that the whole point of the Uncle Remus stories was how the slaves that came from Africa was maintaining their cultural stories by retelling them through Uncle Remus and Briar Fox, Briar Rabbit. All that was how the young slave Briar Rabbit was getting over one on the overseers and the masters. That was the whole point of those stories. And the woke could not see that because it's nuanced and it has shades of gray. The same people who says this world isn't black and white, it's got shades of gray, refuse to see the shades of gray and see how these stories shaped and were unique. And they just didn't care.
But I love that it shaped generations that are now being able to stand up against the woke.
Yes. And that's given me hope.
Though
And
I have to admit, I am loath to admit I have never seen Song of the South.
I saw it when it came out.
I never even heard of it.
It's you can actually buy it in the UK. And if you find it on DVD and you buy it, Zach, let me know because I want a copy of it. Because it's the guy that played Uncle Remus was able to get an Oscar. And people like to say that Walt Disney was a racist and he was all these horrible things. But Walt Disney fought the hardest to get that man recognition from the Academy. And his daughter passed away, I think last year or the year before, and she was going on a whole bunch of YouTube channels and podcasts that Disney supporters were on because she was against them destroying the Splash Mountain and the fact that she knew what the Song of the South was about and she knew the Uncle Remus stories and what they meant and what they were all for. And she was basically one of the biggest supporters of Splash Mountain and trying to keep them from throwing away that unique history. And it does. It just really is upsetting. And the actor who played Uncle Remus, I can't remember his name. but he was an amazing person, and his voice just was so perfect for the role. And his song "Zippity Doo Dah" was wonderful, and it upsets me that you can't even play that song without people losing their shit.
See, and
Yeah,
to me, that is so.
my grandma used to sing that song to me every morning when I was a kid to wake me up.
Yeah, and it's
How do you
oh,
take such a wholesome song and put so much negativity behind it? I mean,
It's
Mr.
because
Bluebird on my shoulder, like, what is wrong with that?
yeah,
it's because we live in a society where the powers that be are trying to get us to hate each other for no reason other than being able to control us.
it's that's the thing. Okay, these people like accusing us of being fascists, while we're the ones saying let anybody who wants to speak. If it's stupid, we're going to see that it's stupid, and we're going to act accordingly to it. These are the people who say no. Don't talk to them. Don't listen to them. They're not allowed to speak. Shoot and kill them. That's what fascists say. That's what fascists does. Fascists cut people out of their lives just because of a disagreement. Me, I believe in agreeing to disagree and still be friends with them because they're human too. Just because you disagree with them doesn't mean you dehumanize them. For over
Exactly.
50 years, we have had this happening. They have been calling Republicans Nazis and fascists and all this stuff for over 50 years now. Is it any wonder that the polls show that over 55% of Democrats and the left think that political violence is okay? And you've got people sitting there posting on Twitter X and Blue Sky. You remember when we were kids and we were saying that the people in Germany in the 20s and 30s needed to stand up and do something? Well, now you do that. You need to do that now. Calling for violence, calling for people to be killed, completely ignoring the fact one of the reasons why Funny Mustache Man and his political party came to power was because of the violence in the streets. Okay? Fascism came about because of violence in the streets. Mussolini created fascism, modern day fascism in Italy from the Italian Socialist Party. He was one of their leaders of the Italian Socialist Party. And he was looking at the growing power of the communists in his country and within his political party, and how they kept pushing the international revolution. And he was opposed to the international revolution. He wanted to focus on what was best for Italy. And he created fascism from socialism, from the teachings of Marx. Fascism is socialism, but it gives the illusion where you still own your own personal property. The government just tells you how to use it.
So are you saying fascism is basically if socialism and Marxism had a baby?
Yes. Marxism is socialism. See, fascism and communism are the same coin, just the different sides of it.
Does anyone remember what we were originally talking about? Because I don't.
I'm sorry for
we got off.
the versions, but
Yeah, we got off on a tangent.
yeah,
Don't say.
history does that.
How did we
Wokeism
go
did
from
it.
Disney?
Wokeism.
How did we go from Disney to fascism?
I don't know, but there is
Wokeism.
yeah, and that leads down every rabbit hole. But there is one thing
Yeah.
I have to say with this dare I say the word revolution that we're upon, you know?
Mhm.
I don't want people to forget the camaraderie, to forget the feeling of togetherness and
Mhm.
coming together for a greater good. So, and why I say this
Yes.
is earlier today, we're coming up on tomorrow is the year anniversary of Helene.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Crazy and I were um, watching a documentary about it about 1 year after, and I broke down. And why I think I broke down, it's a couple different reasons, but the horse got out. She got loose again, and this neighbor of ours, who
You have a
was
horse?
Yeah.
was front and
Cool.
center and present, an amazing part of this community. He didn't particularly care for us. We didn't particularly care for him, but he was stellar in this, and we were all a community. And now, a year later, it's almost like that camaraderie was never there. That togetherness was never there. That unbiased love for each other seems to have faded. And I just kept thinking to myself, I don't want that to happen with what's going on in our country now. I
Mhm.
never want to forget the things that were so real in those moments afterward do fade, and normalcy and regular life creeps in, and then you have these situations that might upset you, and you go, but is that what life is about? What
Yeah.
is it? Like, why does that one thing impact my life now when at one point life was so simple? And I don't want our country to forget how, though we're going through so much turbulence and so much turmoil, we finally have a togetherness and a
Yeah.
purpose and are united.
See, that was the one thing that got me after Charlie was murdered, and how you didn't see rioting in the streets, you didn't see cities getting burnt down. You saw prayer visuals. You saw, and the only violence you saw were people coming and attacking the people that were attending the prayer visuals. That that showed a great deal about the differences between the two sides. So much so, even Bill Maher is now calling this stuff out and saying this has got to stop. And the whole Kimmel BS, and the fact that he's trying to backpedal and rewrite history, saying I never meant to accuse anybody of doing something of saying this, when we
Bullshit.
can easily replay him actually straight up directly say MAGA's out there trying to say that the assassin wasn't a MAGA member. And then he doubles and triples down on it when he comes back.
Yeah, it's
And
such a joke.
yeah, it
The whole thing
frustrates.
was a load of crap.
Yes. And it's just one of those things to where Jimmy Kimmel has never been funny. He was the straight guy to Adam Carolla on the Man Show. And the biggest reason why a lot of people watched the Man Show was to watch hot chicks jumping on trampolines for some very good reasons. And that's the only reason why he became famous enough to get the show, was because of hot chicks on trampolines wearing skimpy outfits.
Hey, sex sells.
Yes, it does. It definitely does.
Yep.
But hey, that's what you get for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years of evolution to want to look at beautiful hot things. And that's the whole point, you know. But anywho, okay, Palworld lawsuit. Have we talked about that one yet, or is that
No,
next?
yeah.
Well, it's not the lawsuit. It's not the lawsuit I'm talking about. It's decisions Palworld has made independently of the lawsuit.
something about
So-
sticking it to them for their attempts, Nintendo's attempts at patenting things. That's the one that I'm looking at, is that
Yeah.
they keep attempting to.
So, first off, Palworld has officially announced it's not a full date, but they've announced that Palworld is coming out of beta
Mhm.
in 2026. The official 1.0 version will be released in 2026. In addition, some of you may have heard that Pokemon has announced with their own Minecraft-esque game called Pokepia.
Mhm.
In an effort, at least I am translating it as an effort to give Pokemon the middle finger, Pocket Pair, the company behind making Palworld, has answered with what I believe to be their own version of that.
Mhm.
I don't remember for the life of me what it's called right off the top of my head, but this was announced a couple days ago. Now, the way Nintendo and Pokemon are, I look for them to file a patent on the Minecraft style of gameplay, only for Mojang and Microsoft to come behind them and say, "Nope, you ain't doing that. Nope. That's copyright infringement."
Yeah.
I had mentioned before the stream that, and I also mentioned this in my Nintendo Must Be Stopped video a couple weeks ago, that I look for the way Nintendo is going for there to be another video game crash of '83.
Yeah.
I don't know how many in the chat remember that, but
Explain
that
it.
was
Liz. Enlighten
Yeah.
me.
okay.
It was
So
pretty messed up.
yeah, so back in 1983, the video game market was heavily saturated with shitty games, terrible quality games. There's virtually no quality control whatsoever, and there were tons and tons of companies out there making these games.
Now, was Atari involved? Are we talking post
Yes.
Atari?
Yes,
This is what
actually,
caused Atari to almost go bankrupt.
yes,
I'm
at the
following.
forefront of it. What started the snowball rolling down the muddy slope of Dog Dookie was E.T. for the Atari 2600.
Mhm.
For many, the most infamous, objectively worst video game of all time. It was so bad, it bankrupted Atari, and Atari ended up recalling most of the ET cartridges, and they denied this for years, only to, within the last 5 or 6 years, come out and say, "Yeah, it's all true." They recalled many of the cartridges, buried them all in a landfill, and covered that spot with concrete.
Mhm.
An event which to this day is referred to as the Atari video game burial.
I had never heard that.
Yeah,
From the ashes of those events rose Nintendo and Sega.
Mhm.
Okay, I gotcha.
The video game stock market dropped 97% overnight.
And that was almost like saying it was like synonymous with tech, because I think so much of our tech showed itself within our video games and our video game systems.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was so. It's one of the reasons why, for a long time, home video games were educational video games, and to play a video game that was for fun, you had to go to to an arcade. And that was one of the reasons why it took so long for video games to become a home market, was because they had that for a while with Atari. And Atari had gotten so big, they thought that they could get away with anything. And I mean, it's like the last time. It's like we had been talking last time, and I was talking about the Atari Force comic books that DC Comics put out, and Trubby was like going, "Oh my God, that was real!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was awesome." And I sent him a link to the website that's dedicated to those comics, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is so cool!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was." The comics were good. I love those comics. The artwork was great. The storyline was great. And if you guys go look it up, please do, because the stories were fun. It was a post-apocalyptic type setting where behave. You're being bad. Kitties don't get human food. You know this.
Oh,
No human food.
that kitty needs to come to our house. Be very pleasantly surprised.
Well, we're trying to keep them from eating human food because of their health issues. My sister, she's a veterinary assistant, and she's like adamant on it.
What do you mean? Like, you don't get much human food.
Yeah,
He steals it when he gets a chance
Okay.
now.
Yeah, he
yeah, they
steals
do
it.
that.
Okay.
That's what he's trying to
Okay.
do. He's trying to steal
And-
some human food.
And until recently, he used to never steal it.
Yeah, that's.
Sounds like
Kitties.
somebody's been spoiling him.
Yeah. But anyway, but Atari they were the big dogs of the video game industry. And
They were back then what Nintendo is today.
Yeah.
That's how big of a deal this was.
I love when you give me those analogies, because as somebody who's not a gamer but heard all these things, these words. Okay, I did have an original Atari. I won't lie about that. But
Yeah.
who heard all these words and all these phrasings, it's such a nice perspective when you guys give me
Yeah.
something to relate it to.
Allow me to add to that perspective then. Atari going bankrupt back then, the modern day equivalent to that today would be if Disney were to go bankrupt.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
how
how big of a
big-
deal it was.
Because Atari, they weren't just a video game company. They were producing computers. They were producing game systems. The hardware. They were making the hardware
Yeah.
too.
They were
And-
the video game company, not just a video game company.
And
I think
it's
the only ones who could have put a candle to them back then were Commodore.
and the Commodore 64 and what was the other one that they had? That because I've heard.
There was a bunch of them.
Because there are some people out there that are still using their old Commodores, just upgrading it with new software, and that's it. And the old systems still work. It's like people who love the Linux operating system. Because I used to hang out with people that were that big of geeks, and they love the Linux system, and they still use it. And one of the guys was literally in tears when the computer that he was using it with died, and he was having a hard time finding replacement parts to fix it. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, the ET thing was such a big deal, man. They buried them, and I don't know what they built over the landfill where they buried them all. But somebody had actually was talking about the fact that they were doing an archaeological dig there to try to see what they could, if there was anything that they could salvage, because if you have one of those old ET cartridges, you can pretty much ask anything you want to when it comes time to sell it.
Yeah, you could make enough money off of just one of them to pretty much retire.
Yeah, or buy an island to retire on. Which
See, and that's trippy
And,
because I've
and then
actually
pour
held
an
one of those
Epsom.
in my hand.
because to me I keep looking at the possibility of what would it take to buy an island every day
Now,
now.
if I had that kind of money, I would invest part of it, give part of it to tithes, and use the rest to upgrade my YouTube setup because I need a better computer.
Yeah.
What I've got barely runs what I need it for.
Oh man. Well, I would say I could give you one of these, but I've already gave it to Tony, and we're going to be hopefully shipping it to him this weekend. Because, like I said, when he was talking about needing a computer, and it just hit me, hey, Logan and I bought this damn thing, and it wouldn't run the video game we bought it to run. It's just
What
sitting
game
there.
did you want it to run?
Space Marine 2.
Oh.
And a couple of the other new ones that needed the more advanced computer setups. And when we bought it, we thought that's what we were buying. And as soon as it got here, I was like, hey, look, I sent him the message saying, Logan, it arrived today. And he's like, okay. And as soon as he got home from work, he came straight in and set it up and to start playing. And he's like, it's not working. It's not going to let me play this game. I'm like, what? And we were looking through all the stuff. And yeah, we got hosed because we bought something that was supposed to be able to play this dang game, and it didn't run it.
Oh,
And it was like, and we were like, how much will it? And one of his friends that was a computer genius who knows how to build computers was like, oh, I can easily upgrade this to where it'll play it. And the dude comes over to upgrade it and needed 2 things to upgrade it. And I'm like, just tell me how much it is and I'll get you the money for it so we can upgrade it. And then he disappeared on us after he had disassembled it and said, I need this, this, and this to put it all together to make it do what we want it to do. And then he just turns around and disappears on us.
Damn.
And so had Logan took it on Monday up to Best Buy and got them to reassemble it so we can send it on to Tony. And he needs to get me the box from the storage building so we can repack it up so it'll be safe to ship it this weekend. And I'm still waiting for him to show up to do that for me, but he hasn't shown up from work yet.
Yeah.
But then again, he's busy too, so
yeah,
I don't blame him. But anyway,
so
our next story.
topic. You're gonna. How would you like to cover this one, Richard? The Homeland Security thing.
Yes. Okay. Homeland Security released.
I'm gonna let you do this one.
They released a meme of them doing their jobs set to the theme song of Pokemon. The Gotta Catch 'Em All Pokemon. I love it.
No way.
Yes. I want to play it.
I downloaded the video and sent it to him via email.
Yes.
I must see this.
Okay, if we do this, we're going to have to talk over it so nobody gets in trouble for it. Because that's since Jeff is
okay. Can you just send it on Discord then? I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, just do it on Discord.
Yeah,
I'll send it to you on Discord then a little later because they interspersed scenes of the Pokeball being tossed around by Ash Ketchum and them with scenes of ICE doing their jobs of arresting illegals. One of them, they actually pull up the dude back of his shirt showing off the MS-13 tattoos he's covered in. and things of this nature. And there are people out there demanding that Nintendo sue the Department of Homeland Security for doing this, even though it's all free use that they used it for, because they're not making no money off of it.
Yeah, and even the Pokemon Company has straight up said, nope, I ain't touching this with a 10-foot pole.
And the funny thing is, the dude that was talking about this, I think his name was McGovern, but I'm not sure. But he used to be the chief legal officer for Nintendo, who is the reason why Nintendo has the reputation for suing anybody that came close to infringing on anything Nintendo related. Literally was asked about it and says no. That what they did is fair use. They're not making money off of it. They did this as a meme and nothing more. It won't work. And so he's like, no, ain't touching it. Y'all should not touch this. Even though I am known in the industry for being extremely aggressive and litigious, I wouldn't do it. I'm known for wanting to do it.
And even then, as I had mentioned before stream, the outcome of the trial would 100% depend on whether they filed charges in Japan or the United States. With this being the Department of Homeland Security in the U.S., more than likely it would have to be filed in a U.S. court, in which case Nintendo would be totally screwed.
Yeah. And I'm when I first saw it on Twitter X, I was like going, I thought it was so cute.
Yeah, then again, I found the video on the actual video on YouTube, and I'm like, nope, I gotta send this to Richard. Hey, I found it.
Yep, and I'm like, this is so cool.
Oh, he was giggling like a schoolgirl.
Yes, I was. It was awesome. But then again, I am a big kid now. Can you tell I miss Toys R Us? Toys R Us was so cool.
Yes, it was.
I want Toys R Us to come back.
Toys R Us, I had only been there maybe a couple of times before they went bankrupt.
There's actually an open Toys R Us near me.
Yes.
Wait, really?
And in Europe, Toys R Us is still going.
That's cool.
Yeah,
not the big stores. It's just a little section of a normal store.
That's still cool. That's still more than what we've got.
Yeah.
Well, there is. Okay, we do have hope that one day Toys R Us will come back. Toys R Us is one of the casualties of what Disney did to Star Wars, and putting out all these toys that people did not want to buy because they had basically told Hasbro stop making old toys for the prequel and original trilogy and just put out toys that was nothing but the new trilogy. And they put out so much of these toys that nobody wanted to buy. It ended up bankrupting places that were by contract were required to buy all these toys to put in their stores. And
I was under the impression
selling.
Toys R Us went bankrupt before that.
No, it happened at the same time. They were in tough straits here in the States. But that's what pushed them over the edge.
Yeah, sure enough.
That's what I was told. That's what I was told. That they had so much stock that was not selling that it pushed them over the edge because they were having a hard time competing with online toy stores where people just go to Amazon and say, "Hey, I want this toy," and have it delivered to them. And I'll have to admit, man, we took Jack and Zachary to a Toys R Us when they were little one Christmas, and getting them out of the store was hard because they wanted to move in, especially when Jack saw all the toy cars and he saw the big toy Dodge Challenger that he could actually sit in and drive. He wanted that thing. He really wanted it. We used to go through the Dodge dealership, and we had a joke with the people that ran the dealership, that because he was obsessed with the Dodge Chargers, that one, he's like, every time y'all come through, he's trying to get out of his stroller, looking at them with this big eyes and a big grin. And we made the joke of, yeah, one of these days we're going to be trying to push him in the stroller, and we can't because his pocket's going to be like really huge and in the shape of a Dodge Charger, and we'll be trying to push him with it. And they started laughing. And the funny thing is, whenever we would go through there, every now and again, they would actually come up and ask, "You think he wants to sit behind the steering wheel?" And we're like, "You got to help us get him out afterwards." And they would laugh and say, "Yeah, sure, we'll do that." And he would get behind the steering wheel and just sit there with a big smile, like Steamboat Willie behind the steering wheel. It was awesome. I miss those days.
Yeah.
I was happy. The only time in my life I was ever really happy. But anyway, let's go to our next update. We've done Palworld. Let's do the Subnautica update that you got for us.
All right. Yeah, we'll save the God of War one for last.
Yes, that's the one that Zachary was really interested in.
Yeah, I know he's gonna love that. I'm salivating just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
So finally we have some updates on the Crafton Unknown Worlds Subnautica 2 lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So a while to catch you guys up, Crafton purchased Unknown Worlds, the company that made Subnautica.
Mm-hmm.
And when they purchased them, one of the they had a what's the word, anonymity clause, where Crafton basically said, "We're not going to touch you guys. We'll leave you guys alone. We won't interfere."
Mm-hmm.
They also said that
if you could get it out sooner rather than later, we'll give you a bonus.
Yeah, if your next game makes, or if it sells so many copies before or by the end of 2025, they'll get a 200, the whole company, to share between the whole company, they'll get a $250 million bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So Crafton ended up firing the 3 lead developers, which included the CEO and one of the other leads, and pushed back the release deadline for Subnautica 2 to 2026.
Right.
So then the 3 founders, the 3 devs, which also included one of the co-founders, are suing Crafton for breach of contract. Then Crafton turns around and countersues, claiming that the initial reason for termination was supposedly they had lost interest in the project or were being too slow with it.
Yeah.
That reasoning seems to change from month to month. But basically, Crafton is suing them for, or Crafton terminated them for essentially being lazy, supposedly.
Mhm.
Then later on, they changed the reason for their reason for termination after the fact to, well, they downloaded a whole bunch of files before they left. Bear in mind, this being after they had already been terminated.
Yeah.
So now I believe the court has dropped that part of it, or it's still unclear and vague right now. Either the court has dropped it, or the co-founders have turned it around and said that Crafton can't claim something or claim terminating them for something that they themselves were not aware of until after they had already been terminated.
Yeah.
And even then, the courts, if I read it correctly, are saying that the founders had the right to that information.
Mm-hmm. So okay.
It's still really vague and confusing at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I have a feeling that this is literally one of those we've got to wait until after all the information comes up, because especially what's it called again, discovery phase.
Yeah.
This was the whole thing I was looking forward to with the Gina Carano lawsuit, was the discovery phase, and they would have to release this information. And because there was a lot of stuff that we know for a fact that was going on behind the scenes that was keeping Gina Carano from getting work in Hollywood. We know that for a fact because somebody was able to force the agency that was in charge, that literally ran her off and fired her and things of this nature. And Shrubby's in the chat. Why does Crafton sound like some stupid catchphrase from the 80s sitcom? Crafton? Yeah, it does. We hope you're doing good, brother. I'm hoping that you ace this exam, man. So I'm praying for you. I'm going to ask everybody to pray for you too. But yeah, the whole craft. I mean, Subnautica. I've seen some of the videos of the playthroughs of the original Subnautica game. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I myself have both Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero on the Switch. Below Zero was meh, but the first Subnautica was pure. It was amazing. It was pure gold.
Yeah. And so I was interested, you know. No need to pray. You can celebrate and cheat. I passed. Awesome. He's got 2 modules down and 2 more left to go. Sweet, brother. Sweet. I know you can pull this off.
Okay. So right here in the article, quote, now Crafton has changed its argument and has quote within quote, pivoted to a new theory that it admittedly came up with only after the fact, that it terminated the founders and seized control because the founders backed up files they were entitled to access in their work for Unknown Worlds, says the Fortis Advisors. The group representing the co-founders. Crafton's disorganized retreat raises more questions than answers. To say Crafton's new theory is a Hail Mary would be an understatement, both because the downloads were not wrongful and because Crafton claims not to have learned of them until after it had fired the founders. The downloads cannot have been the actual motivation for termination.
Yeah. I'm
So, and then the next paragraph here, makes it out that the co-founders were wrongfully terminated.
mhm.
Where Crafton initially claimed they were terminated because they tried to launch Subnautica 2 before it was ready. The subject of Subnautica 2 being ready or not for launch is not relevant.
Well,
So it sounds to me like Crafton has dug themselves into a very deep ditch that they can't get themselves out of.
yeah, that's it. That it almost okay. This is just from what I'm seeing so far, and I could be wrong, but from what I'm seeing, it's almost like they offered a bonus to get something done that they don't have the ability to carry through on, and that's the only thing I can think of for it. And if that's the case, I mean, literally, that type of a statement of the bonus is a verbal contract.
Yeah. So
and if they couldn't keep
Crafton apparently made several requests to the court, and two of them have been denied. One of them being a forensic inspection request, the other being a compelling preservation order. The preservation order, of course, being the in regards to the files that the co-founders downloaded, the ones that they were entitled to as the co-founders.
Yeah.
The forensic inspection, I'm assuming being in regards to the same files.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So that anytime you've got this type a lawsuit of this type, that is an automatic is a evidence preservation order, because literally that's the easiest way to. What was that, Alice, about flip on passing? Oh yeah, okay. But yeah, it's just the way that any type of lawsuit has to go. Is you have to make sure that they can't just get rid of evidence. Unfortunately, people will do whatever they can to get rid of evidence, and it's stupid. It's frustrating, but hey, they do it.
Yeah. So apparently, both sides have agreed to confer, whatever that means.
It quite possibly is. That means that they go into negotiations to try to fix the problem before it has to go into the full legal, judicial, and all that.
Yeah.
Because this literally is one of those things that I could actually see. It might end up just going and having settlements done to it. Kind of, but who knows, really, at this point. We just need to keep an update about what's going on. That way we know we can keep updated on it so it doesn't just disappear. Shrubby says, agreed, bury evidence and try to screw the other guy so they don't have to pay out or lose. Whatever gives them the win, it's just or fair anymore. It's whatever someone can get better than someone else. It's just not just or fair. Yeah. It's one of the reasons why, when I was younger, I wanted to be a lawyer because I loved the law. I loved, especially the Constitution. I wanted to be a constitutional lawyer. And my grandfather said that if I became a liar, he'd disown me. And so that kept me from going to law school.
Yeah. But the way I understand this, The founders sued Crafton. Crafton attempted to countersue, but that ended up backfiring miserably.
Yeah.
So now they're where previously they refused to confer. Now apparently they're conferring.
No, that's good in both the long and the short run. So yeah, shit, that is good. Let's see. After we had that, we also had the Tylenol stuff to talk about. I'm still in shock that this woman overdosed on Tylenol just to stick it to Trump. How the heck did somebody do that? It's one of those things of irrational hatred overwhelming a rational mind and common human decency.
Well, that's what we were talking about before. That's natural selection taking its course.
True. It's insane to me that you had this happen. And the funny thing is, even Tylenol themselves had came up and was telling people back in the day, for pregnant women, please don't take our products unless you absolutely have to. And a Harvard study showed the same thing. And just because RFK and Trump talks about it, everybody's losing their ever-loving minds. And I'm looking at this, and I mean, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Mr. President, if you hear me, please, please, please do a 2-hour-long rally where all you do is stand there and go, isn't it wonderful to be able to breathe in all this fresh air, all this wonderfully clean and beautiful oxygen, and spend 2 hours talking about how awesome it is to breathe and how good oxygen it is for the body? Do that for 2 hours. Just do it. And everything will solve itself.
So I absolutely love, from a medical standpoint, that this broke. So I'm going to say this. I'm a huge RFK fan. When it was about what position he was going to get, I called it way back before it even happened.
Mm-hmm.
And this study breaking is phenomenal because we are finally looking at things that big pharma deemed innocent, though they put the warning labels out there, but that's coming to light. So here's a little tidbit of Alice that I don't normally share with a lot of people, but it goes along with the story. When I was younger, I went through a very dark time, which a lot of people do, and I was quite younger. I was 13, and I decided to take 27 extra strength Tylenol and several other pills, and found myself in the ICU with a nasogastric tube, so a tube from my nose into my stomach, getting pumped full of charcoal. Well, charcoal doesn't work when you've absorbed Tylenol into your system. And I spent 4 days in the ICU receiving the antidote to Tylenol.
Wait, there's an antidote to Tylenol?
It is called, I believe it's called like mucimus, something along those lines. I'd have to re-Google it, but there is an actual antidote to Tylenol to try to counteract the liver damage and its absorption rate within your cells.
Huh.
If there's an antidote to something, it's probably not good.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
the whole thing. I mean, when you're pregnant and you're carrying a baby, it doesn't. That's one of the reasons why they tell you please don't drink while you're pregnant, because it can have that's called fetal alcohol syndrome.
a condition that I suffer from.
And it's something that most people, it's common sense stuff, guys.
If you do drugs and drink alcohol whilst pregnant, that is your baby absorbing those nutrients. And there have been cases of actual babies being born addicted to drugs.
Yep.
Because they
I have-
absorb it, and babies become born addicted to drugs.
That's where the whole
There-
crack baby thing came from, was
There is
babies
nothing-
addicted to crack.
There is
Yep.
nothing worse because I've done a lot in my medical career. I was on for a while. I did a lot of our high risk deliveries up here at Mission because we have the only NICU in Western North Carolina, and I have had to deliver babies born via C-section because the mothers were too out of it to deliver them naturally, or the baby was going into crises because of the mother's addiction, and have birth babies from 25 weeks praying that they were going to survive. I've held a less than a pound baby in my hand up to a full term baby on children that were babies that were born to mothers with, alcohol addiction. So, Evo, for you to be where you are now in life, that is beautiful because you are not dealt the cards. You were dealt a pretty rough hand from the start. So I commend you for becoming the man that you are.
And
had
I have
them
people
born.
I have a lot of people to thank for me being here.
We all do.
And I've had them born to methamphetamines and all this, and to watch them struggle to take their first breaths. If yes, those are, no matter what, it might have been a bad drug versus Tylenol, but it's still something foreign in that mother system that changed that child physiologically, psychologically, and did not give them the start that they needed, because everything else that they have to give that child to counteract the withdrawals really sets them back. Developmental delays, physical delays. So I go with you with what you say, Richard, is anything that a mother's going to put in their body that is foreign is going to change things. And in my eyes, if Big Pharma didn't care about making their money and just were more about telling the truth, we'd have a lot of people in better off places.
Yeah. And Tylenol, this is what's messed up. Tylenol, 2012, something like that, had made statements about, please, if you're pregnant, don't take it unless you're told to take it by a doctor. And it's common. That stuff's common sense about when it comes to taking drugs while you're pregnant. And I'm a big believer that if you're an adult, you have the right to make your own choices. It is your body. But pregnancy is one of those things. That's not your body. That baby is not your body.
Honestly, it's a parasite.
I look at this in a way because I'm of two minds. I do believe abortion should remain a legal medical procedure because there are times when it is a medical necessity. But I do not believe in it being used as a form of birth control.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Now, there are people out there that have done the TikTok videos talking about how their fetish is knowingly getting knocked up so they can go and get an abortion.
Oh, that's just crazy.
That's sick.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it is a real thing, and I've watched the videos of these people talking about this stuff, and oh boy, howdy Siggy, and it's messed up. Okay, it really is one of those messed up things that when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. It took me an hour before I was able to put into words how fucked up it was.
Well, and what these women don't understand is, I have a friend that I grew up with who has had 8 abortions. If
Mhm.
she was
Oh,
if okay, and she used it as a form of birth control. She's had 2 live births. Um, one child is very successful. The other child was adopted out because she realized that she could make 30 grand off her daughter.
Mhm.
But
Valid.
what she what most women don't understand is she was very lucky to ever conceive again.
Yeah, it scars
Um,
your uterus and makes it it can make it to where you can't carry a baby to term.
yes, and between chemical abortions and going in there and physically removing them, it causes tremendous damage. And in your youth, these, you know, a lot more times it's in their youth than in their later years. These girls aren't, there's no education behind this.
Hmm.
And that's where my thing is that I'm a little upset with Planned Parenthood at, sorry, is that they don't educate these young women on these things
Hmm. And that's
and
just
how it can
it.
affect them long term.
Planned Parenthood was created by Margaret Sanger to get rid of the weeds of American society. Hitler, the funny mustache man, saw gave her an award for when she created Planned Parenthood. But even he looked at her and said, "Damn, bitch, you're out there, man. I'm looking up to you." You're like, oh, and that's just the way it is. And it just, yeah. Let's move on before I get into another tangent
yeah,
because we
yeah.
got we got to hurry up because Friday Night Frolics is going to be coming on.
Sorry,
Yep.
you poked my bear.
I
Yep.
disagree with the speaker. They get education, aka indoctrination, from our public schools. Yeah, that's the public schools have made it to where it's just a clump of cells. You can get rid of it. It's no big deal, which is part of the dehumanization issues that I've been talking about. It's a human life. When you can throw a human life away without a second thought, you get where we're at today. It's one of the reasons why divorce is so rampant. It's like 80% of marriages are ending in divorce because, hey, why fix it? Just leave and go and try again somewhere else. Why should I care that I'm going to break somebody's heart? Why should I care that it's an all me generation that we've raised? And it's messed up. It really is because it's gotten to a point to where society and culture has gotten to a point to where that they just, is it good? Does it make you feel good? Then do it. To hell with what anybody else ends up suffering through. Don't think about the fact that what you're going to do is hurt your kids. It's going to rip the guts out of the person that has supported you for all these years without a second thought. Don't think about that. Just go do what makes you feel good. It throwing a life away should never be easy. It should never be celebrated like this, like it is. Yeah, it is. This is a tangent. I'm sorry. Our next topic. Let's see. We've done the Subnautica. We've done Palworld.
We got the God of War still sleeps.
Yes, God of War is our next up.
All right. I have been looking forward to this one since I first started reading about it. So, I'm going to pull a Doomcock here and say that we are now entering the rumor zone.
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, allegedly, there has been a leak regarding God of War 6. a lot of information, well, not a lot of information, but a good deal of information has come out.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, this game is going to be taking place in Egypt, which is what the fans have been calling for since the end of the last God of War game. Let's see. There's even a quote here from one of the people working on the game. Let me see if I can. Kratos this time has like an Egyptian sword, a curved Egyptian sword, like a saber or something like that.
The Kopek.
Yep, Kopesh. But yes,
Yeah.
but where this time, the details that I'm looking at in the article that I'm looking at, it seems that Kratos and Atreus will both be in the game.
Ooh.
If so, I'm really excited. And this will also be a good opportunity for education, because the both sets of God of War games were very educational, especially in terms of educating you about the mythology. Now, the Norse mythology aspect of it couldn't be explored in too terribly great of depth, because most of the texts regarding Norse mythology were destroyed over time. But Egyptian mythology is on a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because there's so much of it.
Yeah, I myself never studied Egyptian mythology.
It is
It's-
very in depth.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
One of the things that's really cool is like the set animal that they've been trying to figure out what animal that is with the square ears. And I can't remember who it was brought up the fact that it's because it looks like a dog with square ears and a split tail.
Yeah.
And this is a little known fact. Sorry for the tangent, but Islam, Muhammad hated dogs a lot, and he basically told them to kill dogs. That's why a good chunk of the native dog species, especially on the Arabian Peninsula, there aren't any anymore because they wiped them out. And it wasn't until they realized that they needed dogs for security and military purposes that they stopped killing dogs. Little known fact. End of tangent. But yeah, this, if they do, the only thing I can say is if they do this and it is set in Egypt with Egyptian mythology, they're going to need some really good scholars helping them write it and get it right, because Egyptian mythology, there's so much of it and it's so rich and diverse that they're gonna have to be a heck of a lot more sensitive to getting it right than they were when it came to when they did the Norse mythology.
Well, and there's just so many deities and semi gods, and that and stories within stories that I think that they're going to have, like, even not knowing the game, that they're going to have to get right, because people are so much more well educated about Egyptian time than they were, say, 100 years ago, that it's really more present.
Plus the fact you've got the Egyptian government that takes this stuff really seriously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many times in the past have they gone after people that have done something with Egyptian mythology and got it really wrong?
Or even, I mean, there's times when they've gotten, the kings wrong, or the queens that they found, when they've discovered a tomb and somebody writes a paper and says it's, so and so, and then they come back years later and say, no, 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 it can't be so and so, because to them, not only are you telling the stories, but you're putting their history together and you're putting their history out there.
And they want it right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
one of the few things that I've ever been a part of that have had anything to do with Egyptian mythology is actually Yu-Gi-Oh.
Mhm.
Is Yu-Gi-Oh in the anime that most of us know, which has been find my tongue, which to the fan base is known as Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. The vast majority of it takes place in Egypt, or not takes place in Egypt. It is very Egyptian themed.
Yeah,
and the main character has the spirit of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh inside of him, courtesy of a ancient mystical object that is one of 7 that is created in Egypt.
Yeah, that's I'm looking forward to it because it looks like it's going to be good, and that's what matters, and that's how I feel about it.
But I'm really excited about this. Zach, did you have anything you wanted to say about this?
I forgot the questions that I had.
It's I just hope that they do it right,
Yeah.
and they don't mess it up. That's the issue. Just don't mess up.
I just hope Khonshu, the god of the moon, shows up because he's my favorite Egyptian god.
Yep,
Yeah.
Moon Knight.
He's just a pretty cool god.
Yeah. Well, Stargate SG-1 also dove into Egyptian mythology.
Yeah, and over time they started going into other mythologies too when they started naming the various system worlds after the other pantheons.
Yeah.
Which I thought they could have really expanded on it a lot more than they did. Have the first few seasons where they're dealing with Egyptian gods and goddesses, and then discover that there were other empires with each of the different pantheons.
Yeah, like with the Asgard being the species of the Asgard being named after Norse mythology.
Yeah, and
hey, Agent DBK, how you doing today?
Hey, what's up, Bubba? But yeah, the role playing game that they put out for Stargate SG-1 was pretty cool. It was a D20 based system, the same system that they used for Spycraft, which was actually a really good game. I enjoyed playing it. The new Stargate role-playing game is a derivative of the D20 system, or 5th edition, I think that's what it was. Anybody who is into Stargate, just let me know. We're hopefully going to be able to do a Let's Talk About Stargate one of these days.
I love Stargate. I grew up. My grandparents raised me on SG-1. Mm-hmm. I became a huge fan of Stargate Atlantis. I watched all of Stargate Universe, and I'm not going to lie, Universe kind of felt like Disney threw up all over it.
Yeah.
I may love to get in on this one too. I will have to rewatch some of it, but I am a big fan as well. So
yeah, I love the original movie, and the original Stargate movie that was supposed to be the first of a trilogy. And here's a bit of trivia for people. Independence Day was supposed to be the sequel for Stargate.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yet it became its own independent thing.
Yep. And that was one of the things that most people did not know. They continued the Stargate movie universe in novels. There was a series of novels that really went into the Egyptian gods and goddesses and that mythology. And the novel series was really good. I actually found copies of it on Amazon and was able to buy the paperbacks. And they're sitting in the living room on my shelf in the living room. But yeah, they were really good. And it's just really cool. Kind of like what was the other show that came on about the same time? Had Kevin Sorbo, Andromeda. That was it, Andromeda, which was with Kevin Sorbo as Captain Dylan Hunt.
The more I think about it, I can actually see Independence Day. I can see the influences of Stargate on Independence Day because the alien ships look like something that would come out of a Stargate movie.
Yes, they do.
So if you'll remember the look of the alien right before Rob blows up and his human face disappears.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It was an amazing. It was really cool. Like I said, if I can get met him on one of Tony's live streams. He's a big Stargate fan, and we've been
party.
Yeah, and do something like that because it would be fun.
That would be wonderful.
Because I've actually thought about some of the role playing game settings I've got that I would love to play, and Stargate's one of them. Because I actually sat down and wrote up a huge background set of information for a Stargate campaign. It was going to be the Stargate SG-13, a troubleshooting team that was given the number 13, and their nickname was going to be the Black Cats because they would basically be doing covert type stuff, scouting and things of this nature.
That's really cool.
It was going to be fun. My friend Nita, she was part of a Stargate online role playing game group, and got me into it and joined in, and it was going to be. So I used a lot of that stuff for it, and had a good old time. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, let's go ahead and start wrapping it up. Jeff, tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, you can find me at my YouTube channel at Toawarevo01. I believe I have the link for it in the chat here.
Just posted it.
Awesome. I am going to be starting a podcast with two of my IRL friends here locally called Storming Camelot, which is a dual reference to both The Princess Bride, the line "Have fun storming the castle," and Arthurian myth, or not Arthurian legend, Monty Python.
Mm-hmm.
Monty Python, the whole Camelot thing.
It's a silly place.
Yes. Our very first episode, which releases this coming Tuesday, is 45 minutes of me making good on a promise I made to this community before I even started my channel. We are going to be talking about cardboard white, and the 7 inbred nightmare fuels.
I can't wait for that one to come out.
That's going to be fun.
Yep, it's 45 minutes of us just of 3 nerds just sitting on a couch making fun of a movie.
Sweet.
Gotta love it all.
And this weekend, we're going to either be doing the Living Force campaign, or we will be doing Mutants and Masterminds, or even possibly the Cyberpunk.
We don't stream the Mutants and Masterminds.
What's that?
We don't stream Mutants and Masterminds.
That's true. But we do stream Cyberpunk whenever we can pull that off.
We do that on the Rumble.
Yes, we put that one on Rumble because words like guns,
Already.
things like that are no words here on here on YouTube for some stupid reason. But if I did find out if we switched it over to where we were list ourselves as a news instead of entertainment, we would be able to say it and not get hosed over. So I'm thinking about doing that. But
I think the would what we're doing here technically qualify as a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
that makes
talk
sense.
about news. We talk about news stories, current events. That's the whole point. We're talking about current event stuff that's in the news that doesn't either normally get covered by everybody else, or it's just stuff that we find interesting, and whatever the people in the chat that shows up for during the live stream wants to talk about. That's what we talk about. And that's why I keep saying, if you guys want to come on and join the panel and talk, you're more than welcome to. This is all about a conversation. We're sharing the stuff that we love and that we find interesting. We're trying to undo the dehumanization that's been done to us for decades now. And I want us to talk about the things that we love. I want to talk about comic books. I want to talk about movies, talk about TV shows. What about these things that draw me to it and make me love it so much and want to defend it from when people start screwing with it? And that's just to show why we're having such a visceral reaction to seeing somebody take the things we love and piss and shit all over it. You know, we're not coming out of a place of anger and hatred. We're coming out of a place, we love this and we're wanting to protect it. And that's how I feel about my home, my country. It's how I feel about all of you, even the people who don't like me, who would like to see me dead. I love y'all and I want to keep you safe. Because that's just the type of person I am. I don't like seeing bullies get away with being bullies. And it's just how it is. And so share the things you love, because this world needs a lot more love in it. Because that's the only way we're going to fix what's wrong, is by sharing the things we love. Because, for God's sake, 55% of the left wants us dead. They just, a good chunk of them don't have the courage of their convictions to do it themselves. They want to convince people who are mentally unwell to do it for them. Because they have dehumanized us to that point to where they don't want us around no more. And they think they can get away with it. So, be good with other people. Treat people with love. Treat people with respect. Be the positive change in the world you want to see. And maybe we can make this world a better place. And know this. I love you, each and every one of you. Even you, Shrubby. Even you. Mm-hmm. And you too, Kylo Ren. Even though you did kill Kylo Stimpy. You know. Love you, brothers and sisters. Y'all be good. And remember, you're not alone. And you're definitely